From the Prosperity Institute on X, proud to launch our most recent report, Why and How to Leave the European Convention on Human Rights by Dampier Guy and Suella Braverman. The ECHR is holding Britain back. Find out why. Okay, there was an interesting video released today with the aforementioned Suella Braverman talking for 12 minutes about exactly why. I mean, again, the general public's known this for decades. Decades. It has to get this bad and kick off this regularly before one of these mainstream politicians, these morons, hears what everybody else has been hearing for the last 20 years and finally starts to speak up about this. We labelled this the Criminals Charter in about 2010. By we, I mean people on the right. Peter Hitchens has been whinging about it since 2002 or something. Anyway, I digress. The video is interesting, it's 12 minutes long. I'm going to distill it down to 1 minute, because I'm verbose enough without showing you a 12-minute video. But it is unbelievable. It's worth watching, because it gives you like a greatest hits compilation of some of the best cases where evil, degenerate scum from all four corners of the globe couldn't be removed from the United Kingdom because foreign judges, many of them from Eastern Bloc countries, and you know what I'm getting at there, east of the Berlin Wall, if you catch my drift. Many of those judges sit on a court in Strasbourg and tell our government what they can and can't do and who they can and can't deport. It's ludicrous on the face of it. Anybody with two brain cells to rub together can see that right off the bat. The very idea that, like, I don't know, the Americans would agree to have a court in Buenos Aires that overrules every single elected official and judge in the United States is ludicrous. But we signed up to it thanks to Tony Blair and obviously successive governments. Anyway, I'm going to show you that. I'm going to walk you through a few more cases that made me laugh from ITV News, because every single story I clicked on regarding criminality seemed to be a foreigner doing it. It's mad. Mental. And yeah, I'm going to briefly talk about why it's got so bad I'm now wistful. I look back with longing for good old-fashioned English serial killers. You know what I mean? At least they were rare. It was very rare that you read about shocking crimes. Now it's every day. You can't even keep up. There's hundreds every day, usually committed by a foreigner. So I'm wistful. I've started to give them nice nicknames. My old mate Westy with his crazy paving. Bless him. Or Sutty Sutcliffe. He always looked after his tools. Sutty, he's a good lad, really. This is what I've been reduced to. Longing for the glory days of a beardy weirdy actually hailing from the UK. So sit back and we'll have a listen. See what Suella says. You know, it's only took her 25 years to get there. Well done. And I'll explain why I agree with her and that the ECHR has turned the United Kingdom into the United Nations. But not in a good way. No, it's the United Nations of wankers. Right, obviously you know this, I know this, we all know this. The average British prison looks like that big daft room they all sit in the UN and get nothing done and steal all of our money. The average British prison's more diverse than a New York subway train. But Suella, finally, she got there in the end, bless her. I'll put a link to the whole 12-minute video in the description, but here's the best minute I could find. I watched the whole thing, but this distills it, because there's some classic cases that some of you might have forgot about.
UK laws had to comply with the convention and the whims of foreign judges. Human rights laws expanded beyond all recognition. We began to see more and more absurd cases. Theresa May tried to deport the Al-Qaeda terrorist Abu Qatada, but she was blocked for years because of the convention. The result, foreign terrorists walking freely on our streets. It didn't stop there. It threw open our borders. Article 3, the protection from torture. Article 8, the right to a private life. Sounds reasonable, but judges stretched their meaning far beyond their original scope. It turned our asylum system into a farce. We couldn't deport a murderer back to Zimbabwe because of his love child, Article 8. We couldn't deport a sex offender back to Sri Lanka because it turned out that he was gay, Article 3. We couldn't deport a rapist back to Nigeria because of his life here. You get the picture. Britain has become a soft touch.
I remember doing a big one about a BBC article from about 2020, where it transpired that all you have to do, which anyone can do, crikey, I hope this video doesn't go viral in Africa, Asia and the Middle East, or we're going to be knackered, but essentially, all you have to do to instantly make yourself immune to deportation in the UK, all you have to do is tell the Home Office that you're absolutely raving if you're a bloke, or that you're well into scissoring if you're a bird, right? It's super easy. Tell the Home Office that you're gay, and it doesn't matter. The story I covered was a Nigerian woman we were trying to deport, criminal Nigerian woman, and she said, oh, but you can't because I'm a lesbian and they'll do bad things to me if you send me home. So they just go, yeah, all right, you could stay forever. Have a British passport. Cheers, easy. Council house, free food, cash for the rest of your life. Nice one. And then it transpired she had like 3 kids to 2 partners. Men, obviously, because we're living in an era of warped science, but you do still need a cock if you want to create some children. So this woman spent her teens and 20s sleeping with men and having children, moves to Britain, tells everyone she loves lesing it up, and then they stamp a passport and she's like, oh, can I bring my family over? Next thing a load of blokes and kids come to the UK. It's ludicrous. And they don't do any testing. If you're in Al-Qaeda and you've threw a few dozen gay men off car park roofs, but they get you in the UK and say, oh, we need to deport this guy back to Syria or wherever, and you go, oh, you can't do that. I love noshing blokes off. They don't go, right, bring Raoul in and get you to gobble off a sailor in the middle of the interview. They don't do any testing. They just take your word for it. Like criminals won't tell lies. Think of that. The European Court of Human Rights has got it to the point where criminals are expected to never tell a lie. And all you have to do is say, I'm gay. And you're done. What possible way have they got to refute it? If this woman can tell us that she slept with lots of men and she's got loads of children, and they'll still just take her word for it, when she tells them she's actually a woman in comfortable shoes, what chance have we got? None. That's what. And all of those different stories prove it. There's been hundreds of high-profile ones, which means there's been hundreds of thousands of bog-standard liars who we can't deport, despite the fact they're career criminals. And as to the aforementioned ITV thing I alluded to, this was just me clicking headlines that grabbed my attention on X today. I'll just show you 3. Every one of them I clicked on, it was a foreigner. So what percentage of British prisons are full of them? Here's the highlights. I clicked on this one, story from today, man who stabbed wife to death in Bradford Street. Oh look, Habib Massoum been stabbing birds to death in the middle of the street. Nice one. I clicked another one in the sidebar. Taxi driver from Kent ordered to pay back 100 grand from people smuggling. Habib Basodi transported dozens of migrants to the UK and they're not even sending him to prison. The 44-year-old took payments from those he had transported, was found guilty and was given a suspended 20-month jail term. Brilliant. And then, as I was fully engorged and the rage boner was reaching Titanic heights, I clicked on this link here. Suspension Bridge, suitcase murder, the manhunt for a double killer. Watch the moment double killer Justin Andres Mosquera is arrested at Bristol Temple Meads railway station. And I'd love to know the exact figures. I asked the AI Grok and said, how many foreigners were in courts in the UK in 2024? And it couldn't tell me. They know, but they won't tell us. That's what's going on here. It says for a precise percentage of foreign nationals among court defendants in 2024, comprehensive data is not fully available, but the prison population data suggests foreign nationals make up a notable but minority share of those processed through the justice system. So what, 49%? Honestly, I think it'd be that high. Just from clicking through the stories on the daily, because I've got a political YouTube channel. It's unbelievable. Just endless reams of pages of killings and robberies and surprise sex enthusiasts and burglars and smackheads and arsonists and mentally ill blokes fapping themselves senseless outside girls' schools. It's unbelievable and nobody seems to care that much in government. Instead, they're sitting there going, oh, how can we knock a penny off income tax? What are you talking about? You're not concerned about the little girls getting diddled on the way to school? The gay men getting their heads lopped off in parks in Reading and shit. It's unbelievable. So make sure you watch that video. It's all true. It's all factually accurate. It's just 20 years too late. The ECHR is a joke. The only people who should have power in the UK is people born and raised in the UK. I don't care what some Eastern Bloc commie judge has got to say about anything, and how they've somehow got supreme power over us blows my tiny mind. But that's me for the day if you think I'm just being ridiculous, and of course it's perfectly acceptable to have a foreign court in a distant land populated entirely by Eastern European Reds telling everyone what to do all the time in England. Let me know in the comments. I love reading the scribblings of an imbecile. Until tomorrow, have a good day. I'll see you all soon. Toodle pip. Cheers.